federal judge has dismissed Stormy Daniels' lawsuit against President Trump. The adult film star sued for defamation after the president tweeted in April that a sketch of a man Daniels said threatened her about an affair was, quote, a con job.
In dismissing the suit, the judge described President Trump's tweet as a hyperbolic statement against a political adversary. Daniels says she plans to appeal the judge's ruling. CBS News Washington correspondent Paula Reid is with us now from the White House. So, Paula, explain to us what this lawsuit is all about.
Earlier in the year, Stormy Daniels claimed that back in 2011, she was approached in a parking lot when she was with her daughter by a stranger who threatened her, and this was shortly after she had agreed to sell her story about her affair with President Trump. She and her attorney earlier this year released a sketch of this stranger, and the next day after that sketch was released, the president tweeted a reaction. He called this a, quote, total con job, depicting a non-existent man. And then Stormy Daniels and her attorney filed a defamation lawsuit. Avenatti argues that this was an attack on his client's credibility, and he argued to the court that she should be compensated for what he described as the resulting harm to her reputation, as well as threats to her personal safety.
So then explain what the judge had to say with this ruling.
Well, the judge sided with President Trump's attorney, saying this was a tweet expressing an opinion, and the president is entitled to express his opinion. Now, interestingly, the judge also characterized Stormy Daniels as someone who has positioned herself as a political adversary to the president. The judge reminded people that in other lawsuits, she's basically questioning the legitimacy of President Trump's victory in the 2016 campaign, because she's arguing that he broke campaign finance laws when he paid her, his attorneys paid her to be quiet. And so the judge said, look, if this tweet is defamation, then every exchange between two political adversaries is going to be defamation. The judge said there's no question this is protected First Amendment speech. It was rhetorical, it was hyperbole, but the real kicker is that this judge said that Stormy Daniels may now be on the hook for the president's legal bills.
All right. So, Paula, have we heard any reaction from President Trump's lawyer? It used to be Michael Cohen. He's now working with the special counsel and the feds. So I don't even know who the lawyer is on this case.
Well, the president has many lawyers representing many different interests. He has people who represent him in the Russia probe, people who represent his business, and here he's represented by a man named Charles Harding. He released a statement to me saying that this was a complete and total victory for the president. And he also took a dig at Mr. Avenatti, saying he and Stormy Daniels, no matter how much spinning they try to do, there is no other way to categorize this. But also, interestingly, he said they don't know exactly how much the president has racked up in legal bills. And that's going to be significant. I mean, this case went on for 6 months. There are half a dozen people working on it. This is going to be a serious bill. But the president's attorney says that has not been fully calculated just yet.
So what about Michael Avenatti? I'm sure he's had something to say about this.
Much to say. In fact, he has already filed his notice to appeal before the Ninth Circuit out there in California. If I may put on my recovering lawyer hat for a moment, I will say it is unlikely that he is going to prevail on that appeal. This does not appear to be a defamation case that would hold up to judicial scrutiny. We have to remember, even if an attorney with great fanfare files a lawsuit, that doesn't always mean that what they put down on paper is going to pass muster before a judge. And that is the case here. But Avenatti disputes this characterization that this was a victory for the president, because he reminds people in a statement, he said, look, we have other much more serious litigation against the president, specifically when it comes to the non-disclosure agreement that his client Stormy Daniels signed. And at the center of that case is an argument that the president and his former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, violated campaign finance laws, that they were trying to keep Stormy Daniels quiet to influence the election and did not properly disclose that. We now have the fact, Avenatti points out, which is true, that Michael Cohen has admitted to much of this in federal court in New York. And this, Michael Avenatti says correctly, will pose a much bigger problem for the president than this defamation case.
Indeed. I think it's interesting that the president's lawyers say total and complete victory. I think it's a way of misdirecting the public, because it's a complete and total victory if he wants to frame it that way on this specific defamation case. But the one that you mentioned, Paula, the $130,000 that was paid in hush money to Stormy Daniels, that will be a bigger concern for the president going forward.
Absolutely.
All right, Paula, thank you as always.